Former Spokane priest and confessed pedophile Patrick O'Donnell was able to dodge the law.
Reports of his abuse didn't reach police until years after the statute of limitation expired. But now there's an effort to change the law and hold child molesters accountable for their entire lives. KXLY4's Erik Loney here, and you learned the legislature is dragging its feet and Washington is behind many other states.
That's right. Many states, including Idaho, do not have a statute of limitations on child sex crimes, so a perpetrator can be punished no matter how long it takes to actually catch them. But in Washington, it's complicated. Charges must be filed by the victim's 24th or 25th birthday, depending on the crime. The former Spokane County prosecutor, Don Brockett, is behind an effort to change that. But yesterday he learned it will be another year before the legislature will address this issue.
All of these boys I've mentioned were teenage boys while you were having sexual contact with them.
Yes.
Patrick O'Donnell's videotaped confessions can never be used to put him in prison, even though he admits to abusing dozens of boys while a priest in the 1970s and 80s.
I don't remember ever doing a count, but I'm sure it was more than 20 over all the years.
No one, not church leaders or victims, reported the abuse to police until years after the statute of limitations had expired, which means prosecutors can never punish O'Donnell for his past sins.
And you've seen the ramifications of it.
Former Spokane County prosecutor Don Brockett is out to change the law. He's been pushing a bill through the state legislature to drop the statute of limitations for child sex crimes. 15 other states have already done it.
So Washington's way behind these other states.
Oh, way behind, sure.
The current law states child rape and molestation charges must be filed within 7 years of the offense or by the victim's 21st birthday, whichever is later. Only murder has no statute of limitations in Washington. But for the 5th year in a row, Brockett's bill has failed in the legislature.
I'm disappointed, and I'm just really sad that the legislature didn't see fit to protect kids.
State Senator Adam Klein will not bring the bill to a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee. He questions if the statute of limitations should be dropped in this case.
So I think there is some reason to lengthen them. I think there is a reason to do this selectively and carefully. I don't think it's something you just want to wave your arm and get rid of.
Klein says the issue has been sent to the Sentencing Guidelines Commission for review, and it will make a recommendation for next year.
It can be wide-ranging. There are no parameters on it. It could be, on the one hand, leave well enough alone. It could be, as Don would have it, get rid of all statutes of limitations, or it could be, probably will be, something in between.
If the law is ever changed, it will not apply to O'Donnell, only future child molesters. So O'Donnell will remain free to live in his house in LaConner, Washington, north of Seattle. He was never charged or convicted with the crime, so he's never had to register as a sex offender. His neighbors had no idea of his past until we told them. We were also the first to notify the Skagit County Sheriff's Office.
We know about him. We are aware of where he lives, and if we were to have problems out there, or if somebody was to make an allegation, we are aware of his history. And it would be certainly something that we would factor in when we're doing our investigation.
The Sheriff's Office has received no complaints about O'Donnell, and O'Donnell says he stopped abusing boys in 1980.
I'm very sorry for my misbehavior, my bad actions, and for anything that hurt or might have hurt anybody. Victims, other people involved in any way. I feel very bad, and I'm sorry.
I mean, if he were sorry, he would have quit.
Steve Barber was a teenager when he was abused by Father Pat. He says O'Donnell may never go to jail, but he could lose his house. Victims are continuing a civil lawsuit against him.
And if he has assets, we're going to take them.
Barber hopes a feeling of hopelessness felt by victims will end when they're able to end the statute of limitations.
O'Donnell will skate criminally on this because of the statute of limitations. But if we can get the statute changed to where they've got to look over their shoulder the rest of their lives, maybe it'll, help protect some kids in the future.
Dropping the statute of limitations, worry about an increased workload on police it could create, and also how difficult it would be for prosecutors to try to prove these old cases. Now, Brockett has established a website to help this cause, and it's called stopmolesters.org, and you can go there. It has more information, also links to state legislatures where you can email them.
Something I was wondering, watching your story, what is Don Brockett's motivation? Why is he taking such a role?
Well, he takes this personally. His children went to Assumption when Patrick O'Donnell was there. His friends of his son were molested by O'Donnell, and then of course he was also the prosecutor at the time this happened, and he never found out about it, never learned about it until just a few years ago.
And Patrick O'Donnell is not the only one who's gotten away with his crimes.
That's right. Several priests, and this doesn't go just for priests, I mean there are many other perpetrators are out there, including there's one priest, Arthur Mertens, who lives on the South Hill, And there's also Gary Bolden, another priest that was credibly accused of abuse and sued. He actually works for the Seattle Police Department, working with victims of crimes. So they're out there.
Living among us.
Yep.
Erik, thanks so much. It's been really enlightening. Thank you.